Alright, ladies and gentlemen, the version 3.5 APOC Shadow of course did just release, and we just recently picked up a HYSILENS, so what else do we have to do other than try her out in this brand new APOC Shadow? When it comes to the lineups, we're actually going to be using two of our brand new buffed units. For the first half, we're going for a Blade Hypercarry team alongside Sunday, Tribbie as well as Hyacine. Then for the second side, we're going to be going for HYSILENS, Black Swan as well as Kafka and Aventurine. For the buffs, we're going to take up the crit damage buff on the first half and then the dot buff on the second half. Obviously, the really nice thing about having the dot team is that it basically has no teammate overlap with any other teams like Finon or also the Tribbie Sunday teams, which is great because those are some of the strongest in the entire game. So yeah, with that being said, let's just hop right into it. All limited characters here are E0S0. With that being said, let's just hop right into the run. But real quick, if you guys want to pull for any version 3.5 units or beyond, then I have the perfect thing for you, and that's today's sponsor, lootball.gg. You can use Lootball to top up in your favorite games like Honkai Style or Genshin Impact and save up to 25% on your purchases. Lootball leverages favorable exchange rates and uses Hoyoverse partner ads so you can get the most affordable prices and enjoy all Hoyoverse top-up bonuses. Transactions on Lootball are simple, safe and secure as you only need to enter your UID and your region in order to get fast delivery. For example, if I want to buy the 3,280 generic shards and receive double with the first time top-up bonus, all I have to do is enter my UID as well as my server. And then if I go to top up now, they typically arrive in less than a minute. And creators like Ride & Shotgun, To That Time, and Mordex Tryharder are all also collaborating with Lootball, so they are trustworthy. And they also have some very good reviews on Trustpilot, and I just use them myself so I can vouch for the authenticity, speed, and security. New users can also get an extra 10% off, so be sure to check out Lootbar with the link in the description. Thank you to Lootbar, and back to the video. Alright, well then, here we are on the first half with our Blade team. You have no clue how glad I am that we are able to use Blade nowadays as a hypercarry still. It's crazy that he's better in version 3 than he was in version 2, but of course that is because he did get the buffs in version 3. One thing I will say is, of course, one of the huge points of discussion around both Blade as well as Jingyu after their buffs is that now they're reliant on one of the most sought after teams in the entire game, because basically almost every single DPS wants Sunday, or at least hypercarry. Even the non-HP scaling ones like Aglaya or a Nexa or Sable, not Sable, that's Dead by Daylight, Saber. Whoops, I have been playing a bit too much DBD it seems like. And then who else was that? Alright, Finon as well also really likes getting Sunday, so yeah, that is, and then also Tribbie just being insane right now for Castris as well as Mighty. So they do, as well as Hyacine also really wanting to be paired with Castris as well. So that is definitely a point against it. But then if you have like a dot on the second half, which of course we do, is Blade's team actually doesn't become that big of an issue. Now I will say Blade's one issue in APOC Shadow is the fact that Blade isn't actually that good in single target unless you have his E1. This is an E0S0 free-to-play Blade, so yeah, like I said, I do wish that I had his E1. I wish we lost our 50-50 to it. Ever since he joined the standard pool, we've lost our 50-50 to Bailu as well as Fushuen. So no E1 Blade for me yet. But believe me, when I get that, that will be the first E1 limited 5-star I have. Although technically, Blade is a limited 5-star, but I'm not gonna lie, I will be activating it just because I want to have the best Blade possible. And also technically, I would have gotten it from losing my 50-50, not from pulling it specifically. So I've still technically never pulled for a limited character's Eidolon in Star Rail intentionally, and I will not be. Blade will be the only exception, which is honestly kind of fitting considering the fact that he is literally the mascot here. Anyway, let's go ahead and reset our max HP buff. We're taking slightly longer here than I would have hoped for. Again, that's probably due to the fact that Blade won't be dealing that much single target damage, but because he does have good blast damage, it does mean we are able to take care of Hulei's minions pretty damn easily. And then also because when Hulei takes us in for the 1v1, we do, Blade does quite a lot of attacks. As you can see, we launch our follow-up attack here, and then we can go ahead and launch our basic into our ult, which will deal a lot of toughness bar damage. So we should be, and that will also contribute to our follow-up bar as well. So yeah, okay, there you go. Now we get to do a basic attack into a follow-up attack. So yeah, there you go. Let's go ahead. Okay, perfect. We get our ult back, which is our strongest single target hit. So let's see how much do we deal here. The answer is, okay, we hit for 287k, we'll go ahead and take that. As I was saying, if we had the E1, we would be hitting for much bigger numbers right there, because the E1 increases your basic attack as well as your ultimate single target damage, which, would be very, very nice in APOC Shadow. But other than that, when it comes to Pure Fiction as well as Memory of Chaos, Blade is still pretty damn good. Like I said, APOC Shadow probably is his weak suit, but we'll take this right now. I'm also not sure. I don't think that the memory of that the APOC Shadow buff gives a benefits blade that much. Obviously the blessing that we chose does, but I'm not sure if the actual buff itself does. I'm not sure what the actual terminologies are. I just tend to call them blessings as well as buffs. Well, obviously memory turbines is obvious because there's no other buffs you can pick there. It's only the memory turbines. But yeah, anyway, let's go ahead and use our ulti. So we basic attack for 193k, we ult for 374k, and then we will be hitting a follow-up attack here into 3 targets for 364k. So you know what, we'll just go ahead and take that. Okay, I was hoping that we would have been able to take out those guys whilst they were still weak, but we weren't, which is unlucky. I'm actually not sure we're going to be able to take these guys out either. I think whenever he takes his turn, he kills his own summons and refreshes the page, so you don't refreshes his summons rather, so we don't end up getting the weakness break from it. Yeah, because as you guys will see in a sec, as soon as we take these guys out, it will contribute to Hulei's weakness bar break, which of course, as soon as his weakness bar goes down even more, we can deal more damage to him. Okay, these guys are basically one shot, so let's go ahead and use Hyacine's ult to finish them off, because I don't want to waste Blade's ultimate on that or his basic attack. Like so, perfect. So that does quite a bit of Hulei's ult bar right there. Now let's go ahead and ult our Blade on Sunday's turn. And then Tribbie launches her follow-up attack. How nice of her, although that did basically no damage whatsoever. Looked a bit funny there, I'm not gonna lie. Anyway, let's go ahead and ult 270k. And then do those guys go down? Okay, one of them does, and then the other one doesn't, but that's fine. Basic attack will take another one down. So that's a decent amount of progress on the weakness break bar. Let's go ahead and basic into follow-up attack. This is what I meant to say. Okay, and we get our ult again for more weakness break. Now the thing, what I'm wondering is if we had Ruan Mei here. Ruan Mei is a decent alternative to Tribbie, but Tribbie's just so strong I wouldn't recommend it unless you have an E1 Ruan Mei. But in APOC Shadow, I do actually think Ruan Mei is probably, you know, the gap between Ruan Mei and Tribbie closes a bit unless you have an E1 Tribbie, just because of how big weakness breaking is in APOC Shadow. So unfortunately, we weren't able to do what. Actually, I'm losing my train of thought. What I meant to say was, I wonder if we had a Ruan Mei, if her weakness break efficiency would still trigger even if she's not on field. I'm not 100% sure. I wasn't paying attention to see if our buffs on Blade from Tribbie, for example, were still up. I assume the Sunday ones probably were, but if it's a field or like someone else's skill, I'm not too sure how that would work. But oh well, can't really think about that right now, because obviously we know that Final keeps all his buffs, but then will that work for someone like Blade? I'm not too sure. Will Hulei be taking us in for the 1v1 here? Let's see. He might be here. Is he? No, he is not. Okay. We should be able to take this out because we do have Blade's ult as well to clear out the wave. So this should go ahead and weakness break Hulei. Now I think we're going to be able to score just under 1,300. I like to use 1,300 as a baseline, so this is going to be a slightly below average clear. Of course, if we played it slightly better, then we probably could have gotten 1,300. But you know what, we'll take E0S0. We will take just under 1,300 for an E0S0 Blade, free to play with you know, a full E0S0 team. So, you know, getting close to that 1,300 we will take. Some will say that, you know, with some of the OP teammates that, you know, he should be doing better. I do want, and then also, the thing is though, when Evernight releases, if she does end up being a Tribbie replacement for Castress, that actually makes Blade rather, not as reliant on some of the best in slot teammates in the entire game for his best in slot teams, which is actually a pretty exciting concept. You know, I would love to be able to use more of Blade and Mighty, even if I'm using Castress on the other half. Now, also, this is our stats right now in battle: 106 crit to 401 crit damage, as well as 7.5k HP as well. So yeah, if Evernight does end up being a decent Tribbie replacement, that would be nice to be able to play them on the other half, even if you're using Castress on the other one. Although obviously you can also play them on the same team. Blade and Castress is a very strong duo. But there we go, we clear just under 3,300. But you know, we'll take a score close to that. But with that being said, let's see how the dot half does, and I'm very excited for this. Alright then, and here we are on the second half now with our dot team. Let's go ahead and use all of our techniques here, finishing it off with our Kafka's technique to engage in battle. Okay, we do have some nice dots stacked up on all of our enemies now, so let's just go ahead and pop a skill right away on our Kafka as well. That nearly gets us our ultimate. Just gonna go ahead and apply Defense Shred on Black Swan here so that we can get more energy refund whenever we use Kafka's ult. Okay, you know what? That ended up being a misplay. I did not think Aventurine was going to trigger his follow-up attack. So we actually did end up wasting one of Kafka's follow-ups, which I think ended up wasting a bit of energy. So in my attempt to try optimize our energy rotation, I think I got it slightly wrong there. Also, this is such an interesting mechanic right now. When I was doing difficulty 3, I was just mindlessly spamming buttons, so then I got so confused when one of my characters turned into a... Is it Borosin they're called? I don't quite remember. So yeah, I'm just gonna go ahead and go for Aventurine right in here, because of course Aventurine does have his shield. And we probably won't take enough damage that we'll die, because, you know, the shield basically acts as an extra health bar. Although our Kafka did get crowd controlled, which isn't ideal. I'm not 100% certain why. Not gonna lie, but slightly unfortunate. Now, of course, we will be getting our Aventurine back soon enough, so I don't want to bother too hard here. Anyway, like I said, the nice thing about the Dot team is that, I mean, it's kind of ridiculous how tailored for Dot this fight is right now, because of course the Dot team's biggest weakness is that it doesn't deal that much weakness break. So yeah, and then the fact that this team, that the little wolf guy literally, I'm pretty sure he scales off how much, or his weakness break I think scales off how much Dot is applied on the enemies, which is kind of insane if you ask me, but oh well, what can you do? If that's how Hoya wants to design their game, that's how Hoya wants to design their game. All we can do is just try our best. Anyway, let's go ahead and use our Black Swan's ultimate here as well, stack up a bit more dots on our enemies, go ahead and use the skill as well, stack up more Arcana. Nice big hit from our HYSILENS here, incoming for, I believe that's 1.5 million damage. We'll go ahead and take that, I suppose. 595k on the skill there, 854k on the Kafka skill. So we should have Kafka's ult up for the... okay, you know what? I think we're just gonna go ahead and... Oh, okay, never mind, that took them out. Okay, perfect then. We'll just go ahead and Kafka ult straight away, I suppose. Gets us a bit more weakness break progression, because who knows how much will matter in the end. And this because of HYSILENS and Black Swan's HP bar, I don't really want to take away Aventurine this time. Whenever we get asked which one we want to get rid of for the Borosin, I think I'm gonna pick Black Swan, because HYSILENS and HYSILENS is our main damage dealer here, and then Kafka is our main enabler. You know, Black Swan's role is somewhere in between, so we're just gonna have to go ahead and get rid of her, unfortunately. When we did our Memory of Chaos testing, we decided that Black Swan was probably... I wouldn't call her the weakest link in the team, but I don't think... I think HYSILENS and Kafka synergize better than HYSILENS and Black Swan, or Kafka and Black Swan. So yeah, unfortunately, Black Swan, you've got to go this time. You get to sit this one out. Anyway, we're going to progress a bit more with the weakness break here, which is very nice. Oh, okay, never mind. I thought that was going to weakness break it, but now that does, which is nice. And now, okay, Furry Black Swan should be able to take out all weaknesses like so. Perfect, there we go. Now we get all of our ultimates back, so let's go ahead and Kafka ult straight away. And then I think maybe we try build up as much dot as we can on the enemies before using Kafka's skill again. So I think we just go ahead and use HYSILENS ult here, which will also deal a lot of damage in and of itself. Let's see, yep, 1.8 million, we take those. And I don't think Kafka's skill here is gonna finish it off, but if we get another ult, it definitely will. Okay, 751k, we'll take that. 648k from HYSILENS. Yeah, like I've been saying this entire time, I've been very pleasantly surprised by HYSILENS. Is not only her dot damage, but just her personal damage in general as well. And oh, okay, we take it out after using Kafka's second skill, so we didn't even get to use the ult to finish the battle in cell. But there we go, we managed to clear in 6,600 score using both Blade and Kafka. As well as, which, you know, our two version 1.2 units, we'll go ahead and take that, as well as the 2 units who got buffed recently, so we could say that the buffs were quite a success, and that HYSILENS as well is, of course, a very strong unit. But yeah, with that being said, let's go ahead and move on to some final thoughts, character builds, as well as the outro. Well then, as you can see, we were able to defeat this APOC Shadow decently easily using 2 of our buffed units, as well as, of course, our brand new shiny HYSILENS, who just feels so good to play. I absolutely love the brand new Dot team. Of course, the Blade team did get slightly carried by the HYSILENS team, but even then it did hold their own, especially considering the fact that it's a version 1.2 character, which is the main damage source in that team. Either way, when it comes to our character builds, let's just start off with the Blade team, with the man himself, 135 speed, 70, so he is just one slower than our Sunday, who's on 134. Senior Career, which goes up to 106, 143 crit damage, which goes up to about 350, which after the crit damage buff goes up to over 400. Lightcon, we do have him on the Ninja Record Lightcon S5, which everyone can get from the HUD store. Traces fully maxed out, relics on the Longevous set, just picking up as much speed as well as crit damage and crit rate as we need, as well as on the Bone Plane Ornament set. Eidolons also E0. When it comes to our Sunday, like I said, one slower, 235 crit damage with 134 ERR, thanks to the fact that we have the Bronya Lightcon S1, as well as the fact that he is on the Penacony set, 45% extra, just picking up as much speed and crit damage as we can on him too. Eidolons also E0. Then when it comes to our Tribbie, she's on 5.4k HP, a little bit less than 95 speed for the Poet set, so she does get that 82 crit rate, so she does get a lot of external crit rate and crit damage buffs. Lightcons as well, S5 down to allowance, of course, Traces maxed out other than the basic attack. Oh, the leftover Poet pieces from our Casteress, as well as the leftover bone pieces from all our HP scaling DPSs, which there are a lot of. And then she is also E0. And then finally, when it comes to our Hyacine, she's got over 5k HP, over 200 speed, and then nearly 100 crit damage as well. She's on the S5 Hudderstore Lightcon. Traces mostly maxed out, and then Relic, she is on the Warrior Goddess set, so she does give our entire team a little bit more crit damage, just making sure we also hit all the stat requirements that we need. She's also on the Giant Tree Plane Ornament set. So that's it for our first half team. Then when it comes to the second half team, we have HYSILENS herself, 3.3k attack, 135 speed, because she is on attack boots. If you can't hit 160 speed, then I just recommend going for attack boots instead, because you can probably hit 134 despite being on attack boots, like I have been able to. S4, Eyes of the Prey as well. This is how our pieces are looking, just getting as much, making sure we get enough effective rate, making sure we get enough speed, and then after that we just stack on as much attack as we can. She is also on the brand new dot set. I do wish that I had a physical damage piece here, because I do feel like she probably has an overabundance of physical damage, of attack percent rather, but yeah, as you can see, this is our best physical piece, so you know that's not exactly ideal. And then we do also have this attack rope here as well, and then also E0. When it comes to our Black Swan, nearly 3k attack, also over 134 speed, 140 to be more precise. She does hit that 120 effect hit rate here, so does our HYSILENS, by the way. I think I forgot to shut that off. She's on S1, Eyes of the Prey, Traces, maxed out, Relics once again on the dot set, once again effect hit rate, speed, and then stacking on attack after that. She is also on the Pan Cosmic set, to give us the extra EHR we need from having a low superimposition of the sample Lightcon, and then also E0. When it comes to our Kafka, 3k attack, 163 speed, as well as the 124 ERR, because she also has S5 tutorial to give us the effective rate she needs, as well as the extra energy. Chase is mostly maxed out, missing a bit from the follow-up, and then she's also on 2p speed, so that we can hit that 160, and then she's also on Lushaka to give our HYSILENS a bit more attack percent, which is why she's at the start of the lineup, and then also ERR so that she can get as many ults for as many detonations as possible, because as you know, nowadays Kafka is built less as a damage dealer and more so as a buffer. So yeah. And then finally, when it comes to our Aventurine, where is he? There we go. He does hit 4k defense. He is also on the Trend of the Universal Market Lightcon as well, on the Night Purity with defense, speed, defense, Unbroken Kill as well. Doesn't help us in a lot team. He'd actually benefit from Lushaka more, but oh well. But yeah, that's it for our character builds. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. Let me know how you found this current APOC Shadow. With that being said, I'll see you guys next time. See ya.